Hello! Welcome to Squid Essays. Inking your academic pen. My name is Julie and I will be your instructor as we read through how to monitor children and young people and trade. S Development Essay. The article source is embedded in the video description below. Feel free to read along. Please note that you can get a custom, plagiarism-free essay for as little as $10 a page at Squid Essays. The link is in the description. Understand how to monitor children and young people unregistered trademark S development and interventions that should take place if this is not following the expected pattern. 3.1 Explain how to monitor children and young people unregistered trademark S development using different methods. There are numerous different methods of monitoring including observations, body language, behavior, moods, written records, assessment framework, information from parents, carers, work colleagues and standard measurements. The adult will need to use a few different methods as well as opportunities to monitor the development of children and young people. It is important that you understand the purpose of the observations that you do as part of your role. You do this because you will need to report any findings to the class teacher who will then report it to the parent carer. It unregistered trademark is important that teachers and parent carers share any information about the child or young person unregistered trademark as best interests. The observation can be done in a formal or informal way. There are advantages to doing both these as well as disadvantages. The informal observation will be those that you do every day when you are working with the children or young people. These observations will be small, but over time they will enable you to build up a picture of the child or young person. The adults may notice that an individual is then able to understand new concepts very easily. It unregistered trademark is likely that the adult will discuss their observations with the teacher as part of the feedback process after working with a child or young person. One of the disadvantages of informal observations is they might not be recorded and things might be forgotten to be passed on. The adult may be asked to do a formal observation. These are done to support the teacher in assessing a child or young person unregistered trademark S levels of development. There are standard measurements that are used to measure a child or young person unregistered trademark S physical development. These are done to determine whether they are growing at the expected rate for their age. The assessment framework or assessment triangle is a term given to the way that a child or young people are assessed. This is to determine whether they are in need and what those needs may be. Doing this, the child or young person unregistered trademark S best interests can be planned for with regards to the child or young people unregistered trademark S development. These are useful in deciding whether the child or young person is reaching their expected milestones. 3.2 Explain the reasons why children and young people unregistered trademark S development may not follow the expected pattern. A child or young person unregistered trademark S development may not follow the expected pattern for a number of reasons. The adult will have to take into consideration personal or external factors along with development aspects of learning. The adult should take advice from any other professionals about how to proceed. If the adult has any concerns about a child or young person, you should always speak to a colleague or the class teacher. 3.3 Explain how disability may affect development. Having a disability may affect a child or young person unregistered trademark S development in a number of different ways. Depending on the child or young person unregistered trademark S needs, this may cause a delay in a particular area of their development. That is, a physical disability could affect their social skills, they could become more withdrawn or frustrated. Their development may also be affected by the attitudes or expectations of other people. If we were to assume that a disabled child or young person cannot achieve and they are not allowed the opportunity to take part, they are being restricted in their development in all areas. When an adult is working with an SEN child or young person, they will find out that many professionals or parents speak about the danger of labeling the child or young person. They do this because it unregistered trademark is important that it unregistered trademark is looked at the needs of the individuals are put first, without focusing on the child or young person unregistered trademark as disability or impairment. In the past, the medical model of disability has been used more than the social mode. This kind of language has promoted the attitude that children or young people who have disabilities are individuals who in some way need to be corrected and brought into line in accordance with everyone else. This can sometimes lead to the unhelpful labeling of individuals in terms of their disabilities rather than their potential. An adult should be realistic about the expectations they have of children and young people and then consider their needs. For some of them, the curriculum needs to be modified and they may need support. It should an unregistered trademark to be assumed that an SEN child or young person will always need extra help. They need to be encouraged to be as independent as possible. 3.4 Explain how different types of interventions can promote positive outcomes for children and young people where development is not following the expected pattern. A teaching assistant is likely to be involved in doing interventions or other types of group work. Doing this, you are supporting the children or young people who are not progressing at the same rate as others their age. This is likely to have been advised by either the SENCO officer or another professional with links to the school. A number of professionals may come into school in order to talk about a child or young person unregistered trademark's progress or to advise staff on the next steps needed. The following professionals often help with interventions for a child or young person. Social worker. A social worker may be involved in the child or young person unregistered trademark's life if there has been a cause for concern in the home environment or if the parents request support. They will also liaise with school regarding any looked after children. On occasion, school may contact social services if they have any concerns regarding a child, young person, or their home environment. Speech and language therapists. These can sometimes be based in schools. They can give a diagnosis of any communication delays or disorders. They will also advise schools and parents ways they can support the child or young person. Speech and language appointments are usually delivered in blocks. This is then followed by activities for the child or young person to work on before they are reviewed. A parent and teacher are closely involved in the monitoring and the reviews of the child or young person. Psychologist. These are also known as educational psychologists. They may also become involved following intervention and action from speech and language therapists as well as teaching staff. This is done if the child or young person is not showing any progress. They will then carry out an assessment and suggest any next steps that may be required. Psychiatrist. A psychiatrist may be asked to assess a child or young person when they are concerned about their emotional development. A child or young person will usually have been referred through a series of assessments. Youth justice. This form of intervention is a public body that aims to stop children and young people getting into trouble with the law. The youth justice team may be involved in a partnership with schools as well as the community. It also acts as a preventative way by running a youth inclusion program. There are targets towards those children and young people at risk of offending. Physiotherapist. These give advice and give out targets for children and young people to work on around their development of their gross motor skills. They give exercises to members of staff and parents to work each day with the child or young person. This is depending on the need of the child or young person. Nurse health visitor. These medical professionals are involved in the supporting of the development of a child or young people where they have physical or health needs. They will usually come into school and advise and speak to members of staff. This is done generally with parents present. Thank you for taking your time to listen to me. I hope you enjoyed learning about how to monitor children and young people and trade as development essay as much as I did. Kindly remember that you can get a custom, plagiarism-free essay at Squid Essays for as little as $10. The link is in the description. See you next time.